Welcome to chapter 198 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, is Joe. Joe, how you doing this evening?
Oh, frustrated, but that's for work things. Work is stupid. Whatever. Yeah. So I'm doing good though. Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, Joe. We're almost to Friday now. It was a long weekend for us here this
Yeah.
weekend. Remembrance Day is on Monday, so I don't have to go to work on Monday. So yay for that!
Yeah. I don't have to go to work tomorrow, so yay.
Yay! Yay for holidays.
Exactly. Yeah. Ours is Veterans Day, so
So that's fun, and obviously I got the PlayStation 5, and I've been playing through Spider-Man on the PS5. We'll not say anything about it. We'll not make any mistakes, listeners. As we were leaving the recording, I recorded with Joe on Monday. As we were leaving the recording, I said to Joe, I have to go. I'm in Spider-Man. I'm just at this point in the game, 30% in. And Joe was like, I haven't even played yet. I thought
like
Joe
I
had already
haven't.
finished the game, to be honest with you.
Nope. Don't have the game, haven't even started,
Yeah,
and you're
so
already giving me spoilers for things that I had no idea was even a possibility.
yeah.
Uh,
I felt too stupid about that. I didn't mean that at all. I
oh,
just
I know it doesn't
you know,
matter.
but you don't want to say about
Here's the thing.
assumptions. Say about its assumptions to make asses out of you and me.
Yep.
And yeah, that's exactly
I
what happened there.
Here's the funny thing. I already forgot what you had told me. I just
Oh,
want to
that's
give you
good.
shit for it.
That's good. That's good. I'll take that. I'll take that. Uh, besides that, we have some news to talk about, and we have to say goodbye to a very fun, quirky, crazy, sex ghost filled show.
Yeah.
Before we do that, Joe, let's talk about the fact that I was joining you on Monday for a special episode of Walk Through the Multiverse, where we
Yeah.
talked about the season finale of Gen V and the season premiere of Invincible. That was
Yeah.
really enjoyable conversation, and that dropped on Tuesday, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you'll be going weekly from now on with Invincible. I'm telling
Just
you.
for Invincible. Well, I say just for Invincible. I'm depending on. Let me check the calendar real quick. Yeah, it's only 4 days.
Mhm.
I might go weekly for the rest of the year because there is a lot that backlog that I can fill December with. So, plus a
Ooh.
couple new things coming out. I think Reacher's coming out in December, and I really love that
Yes.
show.
Oh, that's a great show. And
So
and
depending how
Invincible's
they
coming
drop
back
that,
right in the new year.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. I thought January, it
January.
might be February.
Yeah.
I'll double check on that one. I'll definitely have it known by the time episode 4 comes out. But
So
yeah, as of right now, I'm dropping weekly for Invincible. Probably go weekly in December to finish out the year, and then we'll pick back up for weekly
for
once the
Invincible.
second half of Invincible comes out. Yeah.
Good stuff. So I have a little story, listeners. I didn't even share this with Joe yet.
Yeah.
Myself
So
and
I'm
Joe were
interested.
podcasting on Monday, and my partner Allison had volleyball, so I had I put the kid to bed and was watching the monitor here with Joe while we were recording.
Mhm.
Allison had the late game, so she wasn't going to get back until about 11 o'clock our time. I finished with Joe about 10:15, maybe 10 o'clock, I'm not sure, or maybe even 9:30.
It was earlier because
So I went
we
up and
recorded early.
played Spider-Man on a PS5, and then Oliver woke up, and he woke up like the fury of God had ever come into him. He was screaming and crying, and nothing would soothe him, and it was 45 minutes of absolute hell. I
Oh.
know I could have heard him say "mom" at least 10 times. I couldn't do anything to make him calm down. And then when Allison got home and he was in Allison's arm, he immediately relaxed and went back to bed in like 5 minutes. So yeah, that was very defeating. Uh, as I was walking around with big dad confidence. So yeah, it's nice to get knocked back down a peg to realize
You,
you got to put in even more work.
yeah, exactly. Parenting, yay.
But yeah, it was head of the horrors because yeah, Allison's woken up with him a few times in the nighttime, and he's been like this. So it's the
Yeah.
first time I've had to experience it on my own, and yeah, but at the end I was basically calling for mom too. I was like, "Mom, come home, please."
It's one of those things where it takes time. You get through it,
Mhm.
you figure it out. You do the methods, like you do the burping, you do the changing diapers, you
Yeah,
try the feeding, like you find a way. You'll find whatever. Hey, here's a toy that will help you out. Here's
it
stuff you
was
like
the crinkling of bags of empty bag of chips that apparently
that
soothed
calms
him.
them down.
That he
See, there
calmed
you
him
go.
down at that point in time. He doesn't even go for it now. That was a one night
Okay,
extravaganza there. So yeah, he's usually
so you
like he
find
usually sleeps
something.
through
You
the
will find
night.
something.
So, I can't complain too much, but yeah, it was just a hilarious knock back down as I was walking around, like thinking, like he was always smiling, happy to be with me, and I changing pampers, all that stuff is easy. So yeah, again, it was just like you said, you always got to be working at it. But I thought you'd find that fun because he was completely asleep the entire time myself and Joe
Yeah,
podcast. I was just
which
looking
was
at the
nice.
monitor, and then when I get up there, he absolutely loses his mind. So
Ah!
at least we finished the
Yes, which is
episode.
good.
So before we get into all the DC news, let me get the network plugs out of the way quick. We have an episode of Loki that we all want to watch that drops in an hour. Unless it drops right now, that's the face that you're giving me there.
Oh no,
Okay.
Brett just got out of Marvels, so
Okay.
apparently do not stop looking at things because you don't want to get spoiled.
Okay. All right. So we are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 7 shows in total. On Mondays, bi-weekly is Ranger Alliance. On Tuesdays, weekly for the time being, is a walk through the multiverse. Wednesdays is the Animation Nation. Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance. Fridays for this last week is DC Alliance. Saturdays for this last week is Marvel Alliance. And Sundays, monthly, is World's Finest True Believers. DC Alliance goes live for the next week. Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern
There you
time.
go.
Sorry. Marvel Alliance. A note here for Marvel Alliance because we have a movie and season finale. I specifically messaged Chris so I would get it exactly right. The Marvels review, they're going live Friday night at 9:10 p.m. Eastern time. And the audio drops Saturday morning. And Loki's season 2 finale is they're gonna record that Saturday afternoon, not live, and that will either drop Saturday evening or Sunday morning.
Perfect.
So just to shout out there, and Star Wars Alliance goes live Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern time. All three of those shows also have their own podcast feeds. Search DC Alliance, Marvel Alliance, or Star Wars Alliance if you just want DC content, Marvel content, or Star Wars content only. But if you want all 7 shows on the GUA Podcast Network, say subscribe to the GUA on your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. The $1 tier is basically a tip jar. You like what we're doing, you want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier is where you get your extra. You get your ad-free episodes, early access episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. Myself and Joe are going through DC films through the years. Stick with us. We've gone from Batman 66 all the way up to League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So,
You're
yeah,
not going to tell them what we have next?
it's Catwoman. I've been fearing it, hating it.
We'll get it done quicker before before you know it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you'll get to hear us in agony about that one. I'm excited to tear off the Band-Aid, watch that in its entirety. Oh my god. But we also have the Marvel Alliance guys, Chris and Brent, doing their Infinity Saga rewatch. They've covered all the movies in the Infinity Saga, right up into Endgame is up on deck for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great what they're doing there. I'm interested to see where that's going to go from here. We also have Katie going through Canon Comics. We also have Clay going through Marvel Snap. And we have Joe's Multiverse Minutes, which is on a little bit of a break now because of Joe's 31 Days of October Halloween extravaganza. He dropped 31 pieces of content, horror and
I dropped
Halloween.
38, sir.
Well, sorry, that doesn't roll off the tongue as well as the 31
what
Days of
does?
Halloween.
You know what does? 30 plus days of Halloween.
Yeah,
Because that's what I call it.
but it's my thing.
I know.
But yeah, props to Joe. I gave you a hand clap on the latest episode of Animation Nation for that as well. Bravo, sir. That is something that is quite an impressive feat to do it daily. So I know you pre-recorded stuff, but I'm
100%.
if you're anything like me, you pre-record it, but you got to a certain point where you ran out of pre-recordings and you had to start doing stuff live. That
What we're talking
usually
about?
happens
I
to me in
wouldn't
the
do
Animation
that.
Nation.
Nope,
X-Men the animated series, I
never.
had like a month and a half in recording. I'm like, I'm good this week. I'm good this week. Then I got to, I was like, oh my god, I'm doing these weekly again. Shit.
Yeah, that was But see, you do weekly.
Yeah.
You try doing it daily. It definitely became, and I mean, hell, peek behind the curtain here. It definitely became a moment where like I was recording a Tuesday night to drop the episode Wednesday, or I was recording like Tuesday night to drop the episodes for the rest of the week because it's just how the schedule worked out. Just
But again, you forged on, and there were some great pieces of content in there. I implored patrons, even though it's not Halloween, still go check those out. Horror and Halloween films are never out of date. Okay, Joe, we thank everyone that's a patron, of course. But if you're not a patron, if you can take a quick 30 to 60 seconds to rate and view the podcast on your podcast app of choice, it's always greatly appreciated. It helps other people find the show, and that's always a good thing. Okay, Joe, let's start our review of the Marvels right now.
Yep, we got
How did
this.
you, what did you think about this? I thought it was a great film. The three leads were fantastic. I haven't seen it yet. I'm probably gonna get
I
to
mean,
see
I'm
it
sure it's gonna
tomorrow.
be great.
I don't want to steal
I
Marvel's
also
thunder.
honestly, I am looking forward to it. I'm gonna go see it tomorrow. Clay, Clay is gonna go see it too. I'll just say that. Gonna go see it tomorrow. Yep,
GA
we'll go
Pearson
with that.
meetup. GA meetup. Yay.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna like announce that. I realized that as soon as I said it, but I kind of just
You
fumbled my
kind
foot into my mouth. So yeah, we're gonna see
get
it
a few
tomorrow.
more together, and we'll be able to assemble Captain Planet.
Woo!
Woo!
But no, I am looking forward to seeing it.
Same. I'm excited. I know people are three women leads. You know those people that get on and hate. I hate those people most of all. But I'm excited to see it. There's not many Marvel films that missed for me. I think Thor: Love and Thunder was probably the one that I enjoyed least going forward. I haven't seen Secret Invasion, so yeah, we'll get to I'm gonna watch that tomorrow, so I'll be excited to hear Marvel Alliance's review. Remember,
Exactly.
they're going live 9-10 p.m. Eastern time to talk about that film. So, Joe, we don't have a film per se, but we have a series finale episode of Doom Patrol, season
Yeah.
4, episode 12, rightly titled Dun Patrol. So, right off the top, what did you think about this episode, Joe?
Sad and depressing, but it culminated. It 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 was a good ending for the series. Like it. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
right there with you. It was sad. It was fitting though. I really enjoyed it. I think it was one of the better endings of a DC TV show in a while. Like one that knew that it was going out, so it could actually write it that it was going out. Thought this was better than like Stargirl knew, Titans. I think this
Well,
ended better
the
than
problem,
all of those.
yeah, the problem with like Stargirl is that I think they were looking for another season, and then the way they wrapped it up felt like it was an afterthought. Like, oh, hey, we're not getting another season, but everybody else is already gone, so let's get who we can. And here is the ending.
I think it was no different than Doom Patrol. I think Titans, Doom Patrol, and Stargirl were all on the same boat. I think they all knew
Yes,
going in what was going to happen, and some of them decided to take swings at potentially being able to have another season, and others decided, and you even heard Jeremy Carver, he wasn't happy about it, but others decided, yeah, we're going to write it the way that we
yeah,
want to end it. And you never know. And one of our questions when we get down the line is, do you think we could get more of this? But again, I
yeah,
really enjoyed it. Like you said, there was a lot of heart. There's some really sad moments here. Uh, and I'm excited to talk to you about this.
yeah.
So
Let's get into it.
let's get into it. They get back out of the time stream immediately, and there's Immortus and the zombie butts. The battle between both of them. What do you think about how we open right here in this craziness?
Very lackluster, in my opinion. Very just like, oh, the butts come in, and then I mean, it was awesome that the one doctor and Nathan Butt, I don't know what the Butt's name was, I can't remember,
Yeah,
come in, start singing, and the rest of them start singing, and the one Anarchy Butt, the brother that's like, we're gonna kill everybody, like he's like, ah, screw it, whatever, and starts singing.
yeah,
I it plays. They literally showed that at the beginning of the season, like it was a point for them,
mhm.
and it played into Morris's vanity, and it worked. That's fine, but that was just like 5 minutes, and it's this whole dramatic thing. 5 minutes and it's done. Very anticlimactic. But for this, at the same time, though, I am also happy they did it because I didn't want a long, drawn out battle
They
for the whole
couldn't
entire
handle that.
episode.
They're all old as bloody
Well,
hell and
it's not
aging.
even that though. But like, you're gonna have this long episode, which would have been fine, and then give a 3 minute goodbye to everybody.
Yeah, so
So
I'm right there with you. Yeah.
I was happy that it was a 5 minute battle and a 40 minute goodbye. Like
Yes.
that, I appreciate that.
Same, and it could have been budget too, Joe. They could have run it. They
Oh,
could have,
possibly there was a lot
especially
of special
where
effects
they
there.
where they knew that it was going down. I did enjoy some of the cyborg action here, but
Oh
like you
yeah, it looked
said,
great.
everything is clued up quite literally in a matter of seconds. They go out through the door, and then both of the entities implode on each other and disappear. The whole building disappears. So before we talk about this anymore and dig deep anymore, let's take our first ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to do a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe. So Zombie Butts and Immortus have been defeated.
Yep.
So now let's get into what is the heart of the episode. What do you think about Doom Patrol going home to celebrate? Thinking like, yeah, we got everything done. What do you think about this?
It started out fairly like, I mean, they're having dinner, or a lunch or something, and they're reminiscing, um, and they're acting like a team. They're having a good time. Rita decides, hey, one last time I'm going to try on my costume, so she leaves, and everybody's basically just figuring each other out, like what they're going to do next.
And
Because yes,
Jane's
they're a
name
team.
too.
Yes, which I found very confusing because pretty sure she said who she was at the end of the last episode, but
Yeah,
whatever, that's
guess no one
fine.
was paying attention. Maybe is that what we're gonna
Well,
go with here?
that feels very Doom Patrol esque of no one paying attention to anybody else.
Yes,
Um, but that being said, yeah, this was fine. Up. Let's see here. This would have been up until
Immortus shows up again,
the more that shows up. Yep.
and everyone's like, kind of like freaked out. Oh my god, we're gonna have to fight her again. But no, she's happy. She's using the zombie butts. They're giving her all kinds of songs. She's a huge hit, and she's come to
She's been
reward the Doom Patrol.
apparently she went back 1,000 years, and the zombie butts who are now, I guess you can call her partner, have been making her super popular. She is super just great. And yeah, she offers them their immortality back by eating their toenail of hers.
Yeah, and this is pretty cool. I do like to see how Jane immediately goes back to normal. We see no change with Larry. We see no change with Cliff,
Well,
just in
you
terms of what
hear
they
it.
look. You
Yes,
hear
it
it.
looks no, but you hear it with Cliff, and he is a little more spry now.
Yes.
And similar with Larry, he's instead of being like the old feeble man, hands behind the back, slow walking, now
No,
he's back
he's
to his normal self, which
yeah.
was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was nice to see.
Um, yeah, but then we got Rouge, who takes the toenail up to Rita, who has died in
Died.
bed.
Rita's dead.
Uh,
And Cliff is like, no, let's go. Let's get something. Let's go. Let's get her spirit from hell.
basically go down to hell and drag her back.
Yeah, and they're
And
everyone's game. Everyone's game
yeah,
right away, and they go to get something. Larry goes to get something that was close to her. He grabs the bottle, and now she is a sex ghost. That's what I'm
well,
going to
I
call it.
wouldn't call her a
That's
sex
what.
ghost.
No,
Just call her a
the only
ghost.
ghosts we saw going around the house have been sex ghosts. Wait, no,
Yes, but
Niles as
she
well. Niles as well.
ha.
Yeah, I
So
caught my own
ghost.
self. So ghosts.
Also,
Yes.
plus she isn't around long enough for the sex ghost
No,
to
she makes a
have
comment
sex.
about the sex ghosts at one point.
No,
So
I thought Cliff did.
or Cliff did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Um.
So
But
yeah,
yeah,
she's dead.
she's dead. She has a ghost now. She ultimately calls. Well, she talks to Larry, basically saying,
Mhm.
"Hey, like this is what I want." Has a final team meeting to tell everybody this is what I want, and sadly, they're all on board.
Yeah,
You know,
Cliff is the most reluctant, uh,
which is fair.
which is fair. He just doesn't want things to change. And yeah, they let her say goodbye. They burn her body in a pretty cool ceremony.
That I did kind of love this because have a body burning, great. Sad, but great. Everybody's standing around and they're presenting not gifts, but they're presenting the things of hers that they thought of her. And Cliff is like, here's a mirror because she likes to look at herself. Always had to be on point. And she's like, I mean, yeah, I guess so. Okay. And then Robot Man, Cyborg puts on what did he drop off there? Whatever he dropped off was another like
Oh, the
vanity
gifts
thing.
were like, oh my god, and to see her be like, oh,
Rouge putting the martini, and she's like, "What? Are you kidding me? What?"
and she tips it over a little bit
Yeah,
and spills a little
because
bit
she's
out, and
like,
she's like,
"Oh
oh,
well,
cool story.
I'll take it back."
And she's like, no, and then she's like, Larry and Jane, you guys definitely understood the assignment, and they both had pretty much the same thing, a bottle of
Yep,
vodka, and what was the other thing?
a
Um,
mirror,
mirror,
like
yeah,
or a brush or something.
yeah, it was a mirror, it was
Um,
a hand mirror, yeah.
yeah, and it's just like, all right, fine. And so lights lights are on fire, and she starts to bubble up because she's a
Blob,
blob,
yeah.
and then Rouge like pokes it to
I thought it
deflate
was
it.
like a marshmallow on the fire. That's what it reminded me of.
It
It was just
was,
and they're like,
man.
"Oh, it smells like burning rubber," and she's over on the side being like, "Don't describe my rotting corpse to me, or my burning corpse to me, please."
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, that
But
was really
yeah, it
enjoyable.
was the sad thing was like as soon as it was all done, she just disappears.
Yeah, and
She's gone.
they go back into the house, and they all sit down and watch an old Rita Farr movie, which I thought that was really nice. And Cliff shows a little bit of signs of freezing at one point here, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Wait, you took the toenail, you're supposed to be back to normal."
Well, yeah,
But
but
brain
he
aged.
he still has Parkinson's. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
I
Like,
just didn't know if the it would that would be cured if you go back to, like, before that time. I don't know how
yeah,
far back if eating a toenails brought him, so wasn't sure, but when you saw that, you knew. You're like, "Uh-oh, that's not good." Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
We did kind of skip over, but during Rita's speech, she basically said, like, this isn't where I feel everybody is going to end. I feel like we're all going to move on.
Yeah, this isn't the final stop for people, this is just,
Yeah,
like, an in between, and
and
she feels
that's
like
kind of what
if
happens.
and it's right too, because if she would've stayed, she this whole season, she's been the whole 2 seasons since Chief is gone, she's been holding the Doom Patrol together because she needs people. So, with her gone, all the people can go out and do their own thing, which is what we get to have happen here slowly but surely. Each an individual Doom Patrol person goes off and does their own thing. And I thought some of these were really nice, like Cyborg going to the school with Derek and
Yep.
starting a program, basically the same one that helped pull him out of the time
Yeah,
stream.
say which we knew was going to happen because we saw that future.
Yes, we just didn't know
Um,
when, and he's making his
Correct.
own future, which I thought before he goes and does that, he has a great discussion with Rouge. They're talking about the line, which is perfect. Cyborg's the perfect person to have this discussion because when he showed up with the Doom Patrol, he was pretty black and white in what was right and what was wrong,
Yep.
and good and bad. And he even mentions here that, like, yeah, I've seen that it's so blurred. Sometimes you don't even know what the line is, or it's
Yeah.
to step over it. And yeah,
Like
because Rouge is always doubting herself. And I thought it was a good discussion. It was odd that it was her and Cyborg because I haven't seen them spend much time together. But in reality, she's only spent time with Rita,
Rita. Like
really.
Rita was the one
So
she spent the most.
anybody could have given her that speech, and it would have felt like that to me. Besides Rita, I guess.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Larry decides that he's gonna go and find Mr. 104 Rama,
Yeah,
who was a cinder block at the bottom of the ocean.
yep,
That then he takes him out and takes him into space, and they uh, Keeg wraps whatever thing around them to keep them safe in space, and they float off together.
explodey.
That was very sweet.
Yeah, and
Um,
I also do like how when Larry's leaving the mansion. He's running out, and Jane's like, "Where are you going?" And he's like,
yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't know."
Yeah,
She's like, "That doesn't sound like you." And he's like, "Yeah, see ya," and goes
yeah,
on, and that's the end of Larry. And while Jane is there looking for apartments, small studio apartments, 500 square feet, she goes downstairs and sees Cassie, who's going to steal the space. Well, not steal, but take the spaceship. And ultimately, they end up partnering up, and she goes
yep.
off with Cassie. I do enjoy
That was
this.
very that was sweet.
Yeah, and they
That was very
ultimately
sweet.
get together there in the end, and the feelings from the episode, the musical episode, are come to pass here, and I do enjoy that. I like how Jane got a happy ending.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Well,
She was
it's because
probably the
she
most deserving.
100% because
Yeah,
she's had the most to fight through. Not only obviously everything going on in the show, but or what the team had to go through, but what she had to go through.
Yeah.
You know, so
Because in
that
reality,
was
when you
fun.
think about it, Joe, she's probably the only one that it wasn't a villain going into. It wasn't bad. Like, she had some bad shit done to her, and yes, she had different personalities, but at the core, she was still that sad girl. Whereas, like, Cliff was a womanizing,
Cliff was
terrible
a piece of
dad.
shit before he became Robot Man.
Larry wasn't a piece of shit, but all Larry had to do was be honest and live his life. Yes, it would have been a shitty life in the 50s, 60s as a homosexual,
Well,
obviously.
chances are he probably would have been killed in
Yeah, well, I don't know about
being
killed,
open.
but
Well,
I don't know.
dude,
There was some. Let's not say there
let
was. I
let me
know.
tell you about the American history before 1990.
Oh yeah, sorry,
It's
I'm
not
forgetting.
great.
I'm forgetting. I'm thinking America too. Sorry. You're right.
Um, but then Rita, like I don't think Rita
Rita
was.
killed people. Rita killed people. Rita killed multiple people throughout these seasons, including before she even had the powers as well. She sabotaged somebody.
Oh
Remember?
yeah, I do
Yeah.
remember that now. Yes.
Yeah,
Ooh,
she wasn't a
okay.
great person for the first
No,
season.
she
You got to
wasn't.
remember that. So yeah, like a lot of
Yeah,
these weren't great people going in. Besides, like I said, Jane. So I do like how Jane really got the happiest of endings here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And who else we
But
have in?
speaking of Rita's final ending, though, like we see her in
Mhm.
heaven. She meets back up with I can't remember the dude's name, but
Same,
the guy,
same.
the
Didn't
guy
have
she fell
enough.
in love with last season,
Guy that Rouge
killed.
killed essentially.
Yeah. Speaking of Rouge, we see her go to the ant farm and bust out
B-
a flamethrower.
Burn it to the ground.
I
Which
mean, hell
I
yeah,
didn't know
do it.
first. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not know from that discussion with her and Cyborg and the way she was in that. I didn't know what was happening when she was going into the
No
ant farm.
idea.
I thought she was going in to join.
I thought she was going in to tear it down, like
I didn't.
not
I thought she was
join, but
going in
like
to join.
start, like maybe get people out.
Okay.
No, no, she
No,
was there
there
to
was
just burn it to her crisp.
which respect, I guess. Respect.
Yeah,
Yes.
dude,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
And this brings
Oh,
us to probably the
the
saddest
saddest one of
of
all,
all,
man.
because Cliff gets home with Rory. Before Cliff leaves, Immortus gives him a necklace,
Yep,
and
a
she
little
says, "You'll
crystal.
know what to do when the time is right." And so I guess Immortus knew he wasn't going to be cured. His Parkinson's is back. He's there with the kid first, enjoying himself for a little bit, and he picks up the kid to bring him out to the car to show him like the car they're going to work on for a while to get the kid this car when he grows up.
Yeah.
And yeah, he freezes up and realizes that he came here not to live for a long time, but to die. And that was really sad to hear that. What do you think about this whole scene, Joe?
The worst for me was so Clara, his daughter,
Yeah.
is working on it. He's in the car with Rory, the grandson.
Yeah.
And he goes to grab the whatever pipe that she needed, the PC pipe or whatever. He freezes up there. It's like, ah, crap. Okay, whatever. Turns and looks and sees the crystal, and he literally sees his own life play out. But it's Rory. Like he
Yeah.
gets to see Rory grow up, which is at that moment I'm like, I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Um, but like he sees Rory growing up, and he's making the exact same decisions,
Mm-hmm.
the exact same everything that
Cliff did.
Cliff made, and it's just like, oh, maybe you can maybe not make it do this, but whatever. And then the dude just like Clara comes back, it's like, Dad, are you okay? It's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. And you see
I
his
came
eyes,
home. He's like, I came home.
yeah, and his eyes just were red, and then they just fade out, and God, that's how you end it. That's how you.
Yes, that's in the
Oh,
series, and again, a tip of the cap to them, Joe. I
sad
absolutely
as
adore
hell,
this.
but Jesus Christ, that was great.
I absolutely adore this season. Not this season, this series. This season was good, but not like it's just all these episodes blend together. The spacing of the two parts of
The
this
two
season
halves
really
hurt.
hurt.
That hurt it.
Really hurt. Really hurt. Not I don't even know if that two halves would hurt. Just the whole
No, like
gap between them.
yeah, it's the year long gap. Like
Yeah.
if it was only like a 3 month gap,
Or
fine.
even like like
5 month
5, 6
gap would have been
weeks.
fine.
Like no, 5 months
No,
is not even
they
fine.
had
You gotta be smarter with your stuff. Like what
they had a
Invincible's
whole
doing.
year, and that was bad.
You end in November. December, January, February, couple months is max.
February, the latest, is when you
Yeah,
should have brought it out.
yeah.
Now, but the other thing I was also a little sad about is that we didn't see Dorothy. I
No.
mean, we got her what 3 episodes ago was the last time we saw her,
Yeah.
which is I wish we could have seen her at least one more time here.
But I don't know
We
who you're
got
taking time from here that you know what I mean? Like
well,
all the
like
endings. I don't know who you're
no, like all you need to do is just that alarm goes off and you find her with Space Case Casey.
but you
And
can't do
then
the
you
whole
find her.
well, I guess if you let Dorothy lets two of them go off together, yeah.
That's what I'm
Because of how
saying.
they
Like,
do it.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Jane comes in, finds the two of them talking about this, and
Mhm.
she's like, "Oh, so I didn't know anybody was here. Uh, I told Casey she could have this,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna leave now."
Yeah.
Like, just something simple, just a nice little goodbye. But
Mhm. I agree.
but at the same time, I do like how that played out with Casey and Jane.
Yeah.
Um, Not that having Dorothy there would have took anything away, but I just you got Casey to come in and say goodbye, but not, and that really was more connected to Jane. You got the goodbyes from the main cast, and
Yeah.
that's really what the important thing was.
Yep. And again, really enjoyed it. Thought this was a great finale. This was the better of the 3 or
Definitely
4
better of
finales
the
we've seen in a while.
yeah.
Superman Lois gotta step up to beat this finale. That's what I'll say.
Well, we've got 6 episodes, maybe.
You and your 6 episode theory. 10 at the moment, listeners. Don't listen to Joe. So we'll take our second ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're an ad support network. We don't pick the ads or volume. Going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe, we got some news to pour through here. Let's go up here. And first and foremost, the strike is over, Joe.
Tentatively.
Tentatively. They have to vote on that, Joe saying most of the
More
time though,
more than
when
likely, it's gonna pass.
when you
But
reach an agreement like this, they usually pass when like they know what they want their members want and they usually fight for it and they're not gonna come to them with a deal that isn't they've been holding out for a while. So
sure,
again, really happy and this means we're gonna get a lot of news, listeners, very quickly.
over the
And
next couple weeks, definitely.
yeah, it's gonna be a lot of casting news. And the first thing we got here actually let me just see one other thing before I jump into that, just to see if there's the thread about uh SAG actor strike. Hold on.
And as he does that, I'm gonna wow all of you with my magic tricks.
No.
Look at this thumb disappear. Oh my gosh. Oh wait,
In a
I'm getting it wrong.
in a contract valued at over $1 billion, we've achieved a deal of extraordinary scope that includes above pattern minimum compensation increases, unprecedented provisions for consent and compensation that would protect members from the threat of AI, which was one of the things that was uh, like important to them because I know they were trying to get it so they could
The
just
AI, yeah, the AI thing was the big stopper.
yeah.
Um,
And they were trying to get like the estate. Didn't even have to go to them to use somebody that was already passed away, which that was a wild thing to try and do.
I mean, that just automatically meant, oh look, now I can have a movie with Boris Karloff or Vincent Price
Hmm.
or Christopher Lee. Like,
Yeah, and we don't need them in terribly AI made movies right now. That can
no,
be
give it 10 years.
yeah, and then go to the estates, which is what they still have to do with that, which is nice, Joe. So, yeah, we'll get more details of the deal as the days follow. That we're still pretty close to it. That we're not going to get any of the major details till the vote is over, I'm sure, or
Exactly.
started. So, we'll be talking about this a little bit more next week. But we are getting a little bit trickle down news from this. Superman Legacy is eyeing March for the beginning of filming via Deadline. So that is a fun little update here. We'll get the filming in the new year. And then the Penguin is being fast tracked to resume filming. Colin Farrell is already in New York. He's posted that on his own personal page. So he's ready to get back filming. So again, that's another indication that probably the vote is going to pass. Joe, are you excited to see the Penguin?
I am, because he was a gold star performance in the Batman. So yeah, I'm looking
And
forward to it.
Rennie Jones, a TV film journalist, saw exclusive The Penguin footage at a press event and described it as a classic noir. He said the
Ooh,
Penguin
okay.
series looks so fucking rad. Uh, pardon my French, but that's the quote. Like a classic noir, and Farrell's getting to shine while Kristen Milotti looks like a terrifying big bad in Sophia Falcone. So
Oh,
pretty cool little update there that gets me
I love
excited
it. I
for that
love it.
show, and I think that's going to be a big hit when we get that. Uh,
Yeah, I'm excited
so
for it.
same, I think it's going to be good. And there's been a lot of hubbub in the last few weeks about Creature Commandos being
Bumped.
delayed, bumped, and James Gunn has come out and shut that down. He's saying, yes, Creature Commandos is all set to come out in 2024. There have never been any delays. Thank goodness. Any info otherwise is will intention mistake or misspeaking. I'm going to throw misspeaking in there and not will intention mistake for that.
Yeah,
Uh, he's also said all the voice acting has been recorded for that as well. So,
pretty sure it was all done before the actors
yep,
strike hit.
yep,
Yeah,
that was one thing that we knew we were getting.
yeah. So good on him for stopping that before that fire grew any bigger. Because I know it went through our chat, and even we were questioning it.
Yeah,
So the fact that he came out, and I'm also like, and obviously the strike, he couldn't say shit much, really. But I'm liking that he's not on
no,
the social medias like 24/7 like he was in the beginning, squashing everything or confirming things. I'm liking that he's coming out for the important stuff. This is important because this was going to be something. This is technically the beginning of the new DCU,
yeah.
and the yes, I know Superman Legacy is the beginning, but this was the beginning.
This is going to be the first
Semantics.
thing coming out. So,
Yeah.
uh, again, really excited to see this. I'm a big fan of animation, of course, and I'm interested to see what the style of DC animation is going to be for the DCU. Is this going to be the
Yes.
premiere style? Is this going to be the only style of it? Are we going to get different depending on the characters? Uh, I don't know. Like Tomorrowverse is all the same style of animation. Are we going to get that here with the DCU, or are we going to get different flavors? Which I'm hoping we get different flavors. Uh,
I would like different ones for each show,
yeah.
but at the same time, just ones that will fit that dynamic.
Hmm.
But the problem is when you do that, you can't really have them crossing over a lot. Um, Whereas if you like Tomorrowverse, if you're using the same style for each one, well, yeah, you can have Batman and Superman in the same thing, and they look
Hmm.
the same.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm right there with you. I'll be interested to see what they choose.
And I wonder when we'll see some of these characters in live action as well, because that
That's
is
gonna be a
part
big
of
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Uh, Also, we got some Superman, My Adventure with Superman talk from the creators, composers, sorry. And he's talking about a big tonal shift, hyping the next batch of episodes. So, again, this all could be one set of episodes that were submitted. Writer Joseph Campbell previously teased how there's so much stuff in season 2 that she thinks is going to blow people's minds. She also made it clear that Lois and Clark will have ups and downs for their new relationship. Obviously, I don't want to spoil anything. It does take a big musical turn about halfway through the first half of the season, kind of Superman score that we all know, and then it takes a big turn. And throughout the rest of the season, it's sort of, I don't want to spoil it, but that turn, it's sort of then as the season progresses, we add more of the original Superman stuff, but it's a big tonal shift for sure. I think we're going to see that Superman that took over a different multiverse. I think we're going to see Earth. I think we're going to see that. Uh,
So when I first read that quote and that comment, I took it as middle of the season we're getting a musical
I thought
episode.
middle of the season we're gonna get a change. Like we're gonna see the evil part of him, or we might
I
actually get
mean,
that
look, we'll see. I
tonal
don't know.
shift. That's all. I'm just sticking out to
Yeah,
me.
we'll see.
See, you and I both really enjoyed that, and we'll talk about that again whenever that
That
comes
was
back.
that was a very big good surprise. Like
Yes,
I was not
pleasant
expecting
surprise.
that to be as good as it was, but I'm also a big fan of anime and manga,
Mhm.
so it hit for me, you know?
Same. Oh, I know. It was really enjoyable. For the rumor mill this week, Joe, according to DCU leaks, John Logan, Gladiator, and Skyfall is in talks to write The Brave and the Bold. I don't know. I did enjoy both of those films, So if you get basically that's one of the things you need to combat this superhero fatigue that we're getting here now of not a lot of these films doing not so great. I know
Well,
like
yeah, but you can have some.
Marvels and Flash and
Well,
Shazam and Black
but the
Adam and
the problem is
Ant Man.
a lot of the just keep on adding to the list, buddy.
Throw
'Cause
them.
there's a lot. Uh, you can have the greatest writers, the greatest directors, the greatest actors in all these films, but people you need to drive them to the theaters. And that has been the problem with the last year and a half.
Mhm.
Yes, there are movies that will get people in theaters. They'll get the butts and seats. But when people just like, oh, I want to go see that, but I'll wait until streaming. Like I don't have the time right now. I don't there's no need for me to go see it right now. That is where you're going to run into the issues. We already know this. We've talked about hundreds of times.
Mhm.
Um I am right there with you. I like Gladiator. I like Skyfall. Like those are both great movies. This adding this wonderful writer to The Brave and the Bold gives me hope. But at the same time, like we go see the movies because we want to go see the movies.
Yeah.
If the general audience has no drive to see it,
They're the ones
it's
that need
gonna
that
suck.
get you sequels. So
Exactly. Like
uh
they don't need to adhere to us. Like they don't need to try to sell this stuff to us. We're
no.
already seeing it. They already have our tickets because it's a Batman movie or a Captain America movie.
Well, you still need to adhere to us a little bit in making it true to character at some points, or you will get the core fans not enjoying it either.
Well,
In a sense, like
sure,
you
yes,
put
but
Batman in a
people
pink suit instead of a black. You know what I mean? Like,
and I'll point to an issue of Detective Comics where that
oh, I'm
happened.
not saying it can't
That's
happen
what
in
that's what I'm
comics. I'm
saying. Like,
saying, and if you're doing movies, you can't take those kind of chances.
but sure, well, you're 100% correct. But at the same time, like the us fans, us core fans who love this stuff, who breathe this stuff, who just will go see this stuff regardless if it's good or bad. I sat through Bloodshot. You know how good that movie is?
I
Not.
sat through Dragon Ball.
You're about ready to sit through
Well, no, I
Catwoman.
didn't really. I
Um,
left.
like it's one of those things where we will watch these movies because we want to watch these movies.
Hmm.
They don't have to sell these movies to us. They have to sell it to the general audience. And this guy is a nothing to us.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't mean anything to us. It may
Just
not mean
give
anything to
me
the
a
general
good
audience.
give me a good trailer and
And that's what we need.
some hype
We
for
need
it.
the good writing with the good directing to produce a good movie and then have a good trailer come out of it.
I can tell you one thing I'm glad I didn't see, Joe, which was Josh
Catwoman?
Hartnett's Superman, because the
Dude,
costume test
looks terrible.
and the script for Flyby. So yeah, chalk this up. You should really go check this out, listeners. On Twitter, it leaked his costume test for Superman Flyby. It's yeah, just it's
Oh, I didn't
very
know.
Christopher Reeve like
I
with
didn't
different
know
Superman
that
stuff.
they actually had is the script out there for Flyby?
Yeah, I think so. From JJ.
Hmm.
Remember reading it, but it was a long time
Okay.
ago. It wasn't great. Pretty sure it is. Maybe I'm thinking of mistaking that in a Wonder Woman film. I could be. It's just so many DC projects
Oh,
on
look,
the
if we could find
graveyard.
if we could find the Wonder Woman pilot from like the early 2000s, I say we watch it. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
100%, 100% we do. Uh, fun, not well. Just one other thing after this, but during WBD's third quarter earnings call, David Zaslav comments on why DC films are appearing on other streaming services, but clarifies the complete library is only available under WBD's umbrella. There's a lot of content that's not being heavily consumed on Max. DC properties may appear elsewhere, but complete library only available under corporate umbrella. So obviously, I spoke about this a few times. He's selling off stuff, content, and things of that nature, licensing for cash flow, quick cash flow, cash that you can subsequently put on the sheets and balance sheets and show we have income coming in. This isn't great for when you're starting a streaming service or you have your own streaming service when you're
No.
because you make your content less unique. But again, I'm happy as a Netflix Canada person. Well, I don't know how long it's going to be there because they're asking for phone numbers and stuff now to. I think Allison used her parents' Netflix. I obviously have Flickster to watch everything, but yeah,
Look,
she.
every single service is going to crack down on the password sharing.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's just it. Like that's just
but
there. It's the scare tactic now. It's going to be reality in like 2 years,
I have been
if not
noticing
sooner.
a heavy amount of DC content on both Netflix Canada and Amazon Prime.
Yes.
So
Here a lot of it has shown up on Prime.
yeah,
Actually, I think majority of like the DC movies have ended up on Prime. Um, that's it's not great. Like it is great because your products are being put
seen.
on multiple services that people probably have. Everybody has Prime because of the Prime shipping, so you
Yep,
automatically get Prime Video.
yep.
It's not good because they're selling their products to other stuff. Like it doesn't look good for WBD. Like
No,
it's I hate to say it, but like I I
they're
can
getting
definitely see
sold,
it'll
Joe. They're
crash.
getting
I
sold.
think as I know we've joked about it multiple times. I don't want it to happen, but it probably will happen because got there was a news report out today that the Wile E. Coyote
Yeah,
movie,
versus Acme.
yeah, got scrapped. Like it was done, everything was done, and just like Batgirl, nope, we're shelving it.
They sacrificed it
It's like
because they
what?
didn't think they would make
Why?
any money because they saved 30 million.
It's
That's
a freaking Looney Tunes movie. You know what? That it may not make a bunch of money, but like maybe you should have spent $30 million on it then.
yeah, and again, that's the decision was made before this new company came in to take over here. So
It's so
it's
stupid.
it's purely financial, but again, you don't see you. That's where I take a step back because you shouldn't be making decisions 100% financial. It should be a high percentage, but there should be some like take a stock of public and what like your fans want as well. Because you have to make money, obviously, and get money injected into the company, but you also like you don't want to piss off your core fans because those are the ones that keep you going, and their stock is going down, down,
It is.
down again. So
You know, it's one of those things where, and I know this isn't going to happen, but part of me is like, well, maybe they're doing it purposely so that in like 10 years they could leak that, oh, here is a copy of the Batgirl movie that got scrapped. And then people will demand it and want it. I know
you
that's
can't even
I
demand
know
it.
that's not happening. I know it's not
Mhm.
happening because of contracts, because of why they did what they did. But it's just like, why are you there? Here are three movies because you can also think of Scoob. I'm pretty sure that second
Yep,
the Scoob
yep,
sequel was
yep.
also done. That's three movies in the last 2 years that they're just like, no, we don't want to do this. It doesn't matter that fans actually like this stuff and want to see this stuff. Nope, we don't want to put it out
Well,
there.
they're not. We don't want to do this. They're like, we don't think these are going to be successful enough to make any money,
You won't
so
know
we're
that
going to
until you
cut
put it
our
out.
losses. Well, they're going on the previous things again. You're just judging. I don't know what they could be using an AI model. They could be using various ways to try and project how much money any one thing will make them.
The
Again, it's hard decisions. You make those. You save 30 million, but then you really piss off a lot of people.
But here's
And
the thing:
Joe, you can
Scoob
get
came out. Scoob came out during the pandemic. You weren't gonna make money on that at all.
no.
It sure. Oh, it didn't drive the people to your service. Oh, because nobody's working. Nobody has money to buy your service. They're gonna keep what they have. Like
Yeah, well, you can't make content then that nobody's gonna watch and just spend
they shouldn't
money
be
on it.
making content. Like
So, again,
the
it's
what?
tough when you're Joe, you gotta also understand that this company bought this
No,
WB,
I
and WB was
know.
in terrible state. They lied about the numbers that they had
I
on their app. They lied about, like,
who
various
no one
things.
do, no business people do that at all about their buildings.
No, but when you're buying them yeah, well, the only people that can do that become president, Joe. That's just essentially the requirements there.
You said not me. I just alluded to it.
That's astonishing. I can say
Anyway,
it from another country.
exactly.
Uh,
Um,
yeah,
no,
it's tough. It's tough.
I understand what you're saying. It's just it's
Yeah.
annoying as hell because it to an outside observer who doesn't know the ins and outs of what's going on
Hmm.
because I don't pay that much attention. It's frustrating because I would have watched all three of these things.
Same, 100%. They would have got. I would have watched all three of those. Would have been excited.
I
And
would have
again,
bought
I don't think
one of
those.
them at least.
I don't think the short term gain of that little bit of money. Obviously, 30 million. If you do it three times, it's 90 million. That's not a little bit, but the little bit in they need billions of. They need a lot of money coming
Yeah,
in.
so,
They
yeah,
need to
because
be.
that's 90 million
That's
in
like a
2 years
yeah, that's
where
like,
they're
putting a
spending.
Band-Aid over a
Uh,
bullet hole. Band-Aid over
yeah,
bullet holes,
exactly.
essentially. So, again, I don't think it's worth getting it, but again, maybe they can't get loans. It could be various things. It's frustrating for fans. I would have loved to see Batgirl. Would have loved to see those other two films as well, as, Acme versus, Coyote and Scoob too, but Heavy has the axe of David Zaslav, I guess.
Yeah, he can go fuck himself.
And the
Our
final
last news.
Yeah, the final thing here, Joe. Director James Wan has confirmed that Carson won't be a shark character like they are in the comics. So I guess we're not getting King Shark for the final Aquaman, and I'm a little sad for that. I guess we're missing out on a shot of DCEU. Well, no, getting a return shot of DCEU King Shark because that would have been pretty cool to retie it into James Gunn, had that same person show up.
I mean, yeah, I don't care. I
No.
don't care at all. I'm sorry. Like, it, I would love
Love.
the connectivity, but like these movies were separate from everything else anyway. You know.
That's what James Wan kinda went for. So, Joe, we got our final thing of the night, obviously. Smallville Ritual recaps season 3, episode 17, Legacy. And I gotta say, oh my god, I remember watching this episode. Enjoyed this episode so much, and I completely forgot that Christopher Reeves made a return in this episode. This is his final acting appearance.
Was this his final? Because I knew he
Yeah,
had. Was this his third or second? Or this his third appearance on there, or was it second? I can't remember.
second, and it was his
Okay,
final one, I think.
because
Yeah.
I thought it was two, and then the third one was a reference. The
Yeah, the
reference being
references.
him he died, and it's
Yeah.
like here is everything to Clark. Um, yeah, I forgot too when I was watching this episode again. Um, they name drop him in like the beginning to Lex, and I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that. I wonder what he's going on with him, and then he shows up. I'm like, oh, that's what's going on with him. Okay, um, it was I did enjoy this. A lot happened,
Yeah.
but setting up a lot for future things.
Yeah, and again, I really enjoyed the, Christopher Reeve scenes, one with Lionel, which I thought was fantastic, and one with Clark that I did really enjoy as well. And, well, he was in the final part as well, which really made me question things. I forgot for a second. I had to go and look and find out that, yeah, he didn't make any more appearances. This was the final one
Okay,
because it really sets him up as a big player at the end
it
when he
did.
obtains the octagonal disc, and you're like,
How? But
how
okay,
did he even
yeah.
do that? Does he have a guy on the inside? How did he get that? But it does, like, it makes me think, is he working with Jarrell? There's so many different things that you think about. Obviously, that's not true, but you're like,
Well,
what
nothing.
plan?
It doesn't
Because
pan out
no, but they
because
could have
Christopher
other
Reeve
plans for
passes.
Reeve, right? They could have other
Yeah.
plans for what I would have been interested to know. Would they have had other plans for his character? Like, did they have anything? Did they share anything with him on what they're planning on doing going
Oh, I
forward with him?
guarantee they
Because
might have.
you really make him seem like he's going to be a big player in this, at least the cave saga here.
But yeah, but the Cave Saga ends at the end of the season. Like they only
Yeah,
had this. They may go back to it next
but we don't get
year
him
for like a
anymore, which
time.
is why I'm like,
Correct.
yeah,
But we don't get the caves anymore either. So maybe
no,
you might be right on the thinking of, hey, Swan was connected to the caves. Since Christopher Reeve passed, we can wash
go
the
away from that.
caves.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know.
The Lana and Clark stuff I could do with it. I was glad Lana finally stood up and said, "Yeah, no, I'm not doing this again."
Hey,
Uh,
so is this where Lex falls in love with Lana? You
no, I
think it's
know
this
that on
episode?
Talkville, Lex was like, "I wasn't creepy. It wasn't creepy.
Are
I'm
you
just giving good
sure?
advice."
Because
And
he's just sitting there
the
staring at
first person
her.
Aston's like, "Do you think Lex is creepy?" And his discussion, he's like, "Oh, come on." So yeah, really enjoyed.
He gives her the advice and just stares at her.
Yeah, it could not be more creepy. Uh, Again, I really enjoyed the Lionel stuff and the Clark stuff with and Jonathan being like controlled by, affected by Jor-El, and up on the top of the
Basically a
roof. And,
messenger of some
yeah,
sort. Yeah.
and we know who becomes the messenger soon. Uh, person that was ready
Oh
to kill himself
yeah.
at the
I
end. So
forgot. I forgot about
just
that
at the
part.
beginning, sorry. So yeah, I really enjoyed this episode, Joe. I thought this was great. It's like you said, it set up a lot of things going forward. It was a nice Christopher Reeve send off. We didn't know at the time, but nice appearance of his.
Yeah. This was
Uh,
one of the this is one of the better episodes of season 2.
mhm.
It's definitely in the higher good episodes. Maybe not the best yet, because I know that there's some good episodes coming.
Yeah,
But out of this whole wait, we're in season 3. Sorry.
yeah,
Out of all of the episodes we've had so far, we've had a lot of stinkers, and season 3 started off rough.
yeah,
If we remember correctly. Um, Also, while I was watching this, and Clark having, how was it? Not just Clark, but really everybody. They're not at school anymore. Like, we don't really
yeah.
see him at school
Like
much,
at least say
and yet,
summer is out or something. Like
well,
give us something.
but then I'm pretty sure I recall, we see them graduating. Um, but and this
No,
just
they
kind
don't,
of
because Lois comes in and is in high school with them.
no, no,
Mm.
no,
Yes, she is. She has to go back for classes.
really?
Yes, yes, yes. To go
Okay.
back to school. Yeah, she's in
Oh,
Smallville,
look,
or maybe go back to community college there. I don't know. She has to go to classes or something. I do
all
think she's in high school.
I just remember that if it was a series set in high school, by season 4, they're usually, because I know Buffy was season 3, but that's a whole different thing. Like, they're usually, you see them graduate from high school, even though like they're never in class.
Ding, ding, ding. That's what happens here. I think Clark's a quarterback in the final season too, and I think that's season 4.
Is he?
So yeah, I'm pretty sure. We'll
Look,
get there when we get there.
I just remember Lois coming in season 4, and my love for Lois, for Erica Durant. Like, oh, okay, hi, how you doing?
Saying we're going to be having a love fest next season
Yeah, we
for
are.
Erica Devance. Okay, Joe, I think that pretty much wraps up our episode for the evening. Listeners, we'll be back
Yeah, I
next
think so.
week with a hell of a lot of news, I'm assuming. Joe,
One can hope.
I hope, because Doom Patrol is ending, and
Yeah,
again,
we won't have anything else. We'll have to figure
pro-
something out otherwise.
props to Doom Patrol for a fantastic run, 4 seasons.
100%, man. This
Never thought
was
they would. A little tip of the cap to them here.
Yep. Yeah, they did, out of this wacky bunch of characters, this wacky show that I didn't think was going to go anywhere. You got 4 great seasons,
Well,
3 great
4,
seasons,
yeah,
um,
and a
and
fantastic
a
series finale.
fantastic series finale. You're correct.
Okay, Joe, I will see you next week for more DC goodness.
Yes, sir.
Later, everyone.
Bye, everybody.